This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives, regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Good evening to you, our esteemed viewer. We trust that the fact that you're listening to this voice, the fact that you can see this image, at least God has kept you alive. You're still alive, no doubt with that. But we welcome you to today's edition of the Family Hour. Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. As usual, every Thursday we are looking at leadership and governance. And today we are here again with another special topic of discussion, and I believe that it is very, very essential, especially in our lives as leaders. So I really believe that you have made the right choice to choose Church of Uganda Family TV this whole hour. All you need to do is stay where you are, put off all the distractors and listen through, because by the end of this 1 hour we are here, a lot will have changed in you by what we are going to share here. Before we get into our discussion, we are going to look at ethical decision making and why it is really important and how it is important. So please, what is ethical decision making? That is the thing, because decision making is key, but ethical decision making is another. So we really need to understand what ethical decision making is, and of course we shall see the benefits that come with this, and also leading with integrity. So that is what we are going to look at today. But before we get into that discussion, I will allow me welcome our special guest today. Our special guest, Dr. Patricia, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Edrine. I'm very happy to be here on studio. I've been missing in action for some time, but I was engaged in several duty-related movements, which made it hard for me to come. But however, I'm happy to be here and to be part of this conversation where we're going to be unpacking ethical decision making, especially for the leaders. And thank you very much, viewers, for always tuning in and following our program. Yes.
And actually, the team was suggesting that in moments when you are away and we can have you virtually, they insist that we shall always look for you. So no.
I'll be glad to do that, but I would be very happy to be live on TV like there we are, because you know it feels good engaging with the viewers out there, and you know that surely they are able to see you physically, not just get your voice.
No, we still have you online, but when you're wherever you are, we connect with you.
How sure will the viewers know that I'm the one? Because it says I hear chat AI also says, and they can mimic your voice and say things exactly like you. I would rather be here physically.
Okay. So that is an assurance that Dr. Patricia is here with us. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you after a long while. And now we are looking at ethical decision making. This is something very, very important and something very, very intriguing. And I believe that we are going to learn a lot from you. Now, getting into our discussion today, how would you define ethical decision making?
Okay, before I define ethical decision making, first of all, you realize that ethical leadership involves making decisions, and decisions acting in accordance with certain principles and guidelines in order to remain ethical. So when we talk about ethical decision making, it is actually a compass which should be directing the leaders so as to remain ethical, because effective leadership requires a lot of dedication on part of the leaders. It requires vision. It requires willingness to even balance one's ethical principles and morals against situational demands. And as leaders, we have lots of situational demands around us every other day. Like just this morning, I had a situation to deal with, and tomorrow I know I'll have several others. But ethical decision making can be complex and challenging, and best performed with the guidance of certain established principles and framework within which a leader would operate. So why ethical decision making? As leaders, every day we've got to deal with challenges, we've got to deal with making critical decisions. We must make hard and difficult decisions as well. And this requires carefully thinking through, weighing and balancing what we are saying, looking at the facts, looking at the circumstances and the situation surrounding each case. So, and that is how basically we address the ethical leadership and decision making. So behaving ethically in a given situation is more about listening to your consciousness and also following procedure. What does your conscience tell you about a certain situation? So we need to carefully have this balance of the ethics, morals, and the leader's role within the organization. So a leader who can come up with a clear balance on this then becomes an ethical leader. And how do we define ethics? First of all, ethics are principles based on accepted behavior. Accepted behaviors and attitudes within a given society, within a given organization, within the culture of a particular group. And then when we look at morals, again, morals deal with the fundamentals between what is right and what is wrong. Those are morals. Can a leader be able to distinguish between right and wrong? And they are personal and also subjective, you know. So if you can be able to stand out as a leader and distinguish between right and wrong, then you have good morals. So they are defined by the family, community, and also a particular group of people. They set their framework, their guidelines. So we need to define and refine our own ethical values as leaders. We need to come up with our own guiding compass and be clear on our own ethical standards. Like me, Patricia, what do I stand for? What do I stand for in terms of ethical leadership and the values? I stand for humility, I stand for discipline, determination, and hard work. So we need to be clear on our standards and what we stand for and what we want to be perceived as. The other day I was at a funeral service of one Mama, Edrine Osteen Mukalazi, who had been a teacher, but she has raised 4 wonderful daughters who have impacted in our lives. They are all members of AYF, but they all bring something unique to the group. And I was able to trace this uniqueness to the legacy their mother has lived. So we're in church and I was just marveling. I was like, hey, we are humbled to be associated with the children mothered by the late, because now we are celebrating her life, but she has left a legacy which cannot be taken away, because now the children are the ones impacting the lives of all the others. So we need to understand, first of all, what is my role in this organization? Am I an ethical leader? What am I bringing on board? What is my contribution? Okay, tomorrow if I'm leaving, what footprints am I leaving behind with the people who I've worked with? Have I impacted in their lives? So we need to be seen as a blend of insightful, proactive, and caring leaders who offer influence out there. So, and for me, that is what I look at as an ethical leader. An ethical leader, in fact, when we talk about influence, without influence, Edrine, there is no success. Am I able to influence positively the people I am leading? What do they say about me when I'm not with them? We need to have that ability to influence even the employees we have positively. And influence is not equal with all people. It differs, it varies. A person of influence always has integrity with the people they are working with. So when we talk about influence, it's ability to touch the employees differently. So in order to be an ethical leader, that person must have a certain level of influence. He must have integrity with the people. And integrity, by the way, it's about the small things we do. It is a foundation upon which the other qualities sit on, upon which the other qualities of leadership are built, like respect, dignity, trust among people. And then the other one, second to influence, I think is character. There is a thing people call luzalo. Some people say you were born like that.
Yes.
If you have bad manners, you say, oh, you're in a luzalo. It comes from who we are. Because no number of titles or degrees or awards or accolades or designation can substitute our basics as leaders. We need to be honest with integrity when it comes to influence. It is not about the degrees or the accolades or awards. By that, I didn't tell you I got another honorary doctorate. Yes, I got another honorary doctorate, but it is a honorary. It's like one of those accolades we get. So integrity is not
but
to be
it's also a unique one.
confused
It's not given to anyone.
Integrity is not to be confused with reputation. Integrity is integrity. It comes from who we are. What character do I have? Because when you look at reputation, it's a reflection of somebody's personal character. If reputation is like gold, then integrity is that gold mine, where reputation is mined and churned out. So when attention is given to our inner character, then that means that reputation will take care of itself. So if I pay attention to some of these things, then my reputation will take care of itself. Edrine will say, no, Dr. Patricia, for her, she's like this and that and that, and everything will flow. That's why the Bible says when a house is clean from the inside, it reflects from the outside. So when others criticize wrongly, it helps you to keep on going on the right road. Positive criticism, we need to pay attention to the inner character. So that reputation we're talking about basically takes care of itself. Yes. Okay.
Well, you talked about, you kept on referring to integrity. Integrity kept on coming. And so someone would really want to understand the benefits that come along with ethical leadership, and then later we shall look at integrity as a trait.
So when you look at integrity, it has been said, and many people have written about it, and they've said integrity is actually the bedrock of somebody's character. It is what makes you, what builds that character. So when we talk about the benefits of integrity, one of them is trust. If you're a person of integrity, the people who work with you or who associate with you will trust you. They will know that this person goes by his word, this person is truthful, this person is honest, this person is a good time manager, and this person is reliable. So integrity allows others to trust you. It is a glue that holds the people together. That trust. When people have trust in you, then you're able to hold them together. And trust is an increasingly rare commodity today. In order to build trust, we need to model consistency of character. Because trust is a rare commodity today. People rarely, just trust each other. And then we also need to employ honest communication. Now I know people are going into campaigns. They're busy telling so many lies in the communities out there. But if you can come with honest communication and tell people the truth and nothing but the truth, then the truth will set the people free. But if you go and tell them lies, oh, I'm going to build this school, oh, I'm going to do this, oh, I'm going to promise
this road,
this and that, construct this road, I'm going to bring books, I'm going to bring uniforms, I'm going to... And by the way, the role of a member of parliament is not to provide those. A member of parliament should be doing oversight. A member of parliament should be representing the voices of the people in parliament. A member of parliament should be drafting policies and laws and debating, not to go and tell lies to the people, but advocating for the rights of the people. So I think as a benefit of integrity, we need that trust, which is a rare commodity today. How do we build the trust? By communicating well with people. We need to value transparency. Are you transparent? Do you walk in the light? Otambula mumsana. Do people believe in what you say? Then we also need to exemplify humility. Like I said previously, some leaders, when they get into positions of leadership like mine, they think they have arrived.
Yeah.
They now think they have arrived, they think they have it all. But we need to exemplify this humility and come down to the people, associate with the people, contribute and impact the people differently. We need to demonstrate support for others. How do you reach out? Are you able to support? Are you able to mentor? Are you able to coach and train? Tomorrow, if you're not in that office, have you left somebody with some of those character traits that would be emulated from you to go on with the work? We need to demonstrate support for others. We need to fulfill our promises. Many a times we make promises, make pledges, and just ignore them, but we need to fulfill our promises. We need to embrace an attitude of service. Leadership, by the way, is about service, not to be served. Many leaders mistake it that when you're a leader, then you're supposed to be served. No, it's the leader supposed to be offering the service to the people. We are on this earth not to be served, but to serve others. And Jesus demonstrated a very good example of servant leadership, especially when he washed the feet of his disciples. He came down and ate with them. He taught them in parables and so on. That is what we leaders should be like. We need to encourage the two-way participation. Are we able to listen in to the problems of the people? Are we able to address the problems of the people? And in so doing, we'll be building the trust actually among the people.
Okay, you talked about this, you talked about trust, you talked about integrity, and now I believe that a leader sees why it is really important to be a leader of integrity. You know, society will always judge.
Yes, yes.
So people will always look and okay, that one, he's speaking this.
But he does the opposite. So we need to walk the talk. I say it and I demonstrate it. Not to say do as I say but not as I do. That is a wrong leader. And if you want to be an ethical leader, I think you need to demonstrate the talk. What you're telling the people, you need to demonstrate it with your personality. You present yourself and make other people emulate what you are.
Okay. You gave an example of a fallen Mama Chigozi. And the legacy that is seen in the children. Yes. Actually, I was asking someone about one of the daughters that I see her committed in everything she does, work, ministry, and so I was asking, where does she get the time? But I'll meet her and ask her that question. But what I wanted to ask is, when you talk about ethical leadership, is ethical leadership mentored through school? Is it something you come with from home? Is it something nurtured through a role model? How does someone acquire this level of leadership?
Well, if somebody is really interested in leadership, I think it starts from training and grooming from home. Okay. How is this person raised in their family? Are they responsible? Has this person been able to take on responsibility even at home? How is this person managing home affairs? Like, I'll give you an example of my daughter, who if she would walk into the sitting room and find the boys watching their movie or doing video games with pillows upside down, she would stop them and say, well, turn off that TV. Can somebody organize the sitting room? Can somebody bring sanity and orderliness? And she divides tasks. You go and clean this area. You handle this. You go and do the kitchen. You go and do the balcony. I want this place clean. And the boys will go ahead and take the instructions because this is their big sister anyway. But of course they will be grumbling, but this is Jojo. She found us here doing our own things and she has come. Now it starts from home. If I've trained you to be a leader right from home, even when you go in different spaces, sometimes you just find yourself taking responsibility, bringing sanity in class where there is no sanity. And then you also have to do a self-initiative. How can you better and improve yourself? By reading books, widening your knowledge base, and being able to absorb and embrace some of these principles. And also being mentored. Through mentorship from senior leaders, you look at them and say, well, they're showing us the way to go, and I think this is the way to go. Let's emulate this and that, and how does that person do this? Then you get to learn some of those principles. But like we talked about decision-making, really, decision-making is embedded in the concept of leaders. Leaders have got to take decisions, and the decisions have got implications on the people they are leading and others. Just like I shared one time about Jonah here. When Jonah took the decision to take a ship to Tarshish instead of Nineveh, the decision had far-reaching implications. The sailors had to throw their cargo on the sea. They delayed to reach because they had to sort out a lot of issues. Jonah himself the message delayed to reach Nineveh because of that whole hiccup and 3 days in the fish's belly and so on and so forth. So as leaders, the decisions we take has got implications. So we need to think about the effect or the impact of some of those. And the concept of leadership is about taking those decisions. As those who have the authority and ability to make informed, well thought out or well reasoned decisions which come in a timely manner. There are leaders who delay to take critical decisions. There are leaders who fear and run away from critical decision making. So when we do timely decisions, then we are often viewed as responsible leaders. People will trust you and know that when there was a crisis, this person came up firm on this matter. So I think we need to groom leaders with that firmness. They need to come out with confidence and courage, like it is said in Joshua chapter 1, 5 and 9. Courage and confidence. Do not fear. Nobody will overcome this. Nobody will defeat you in this. So if you have that courage, then you come out strong and know that me, Patricia, nobody will beat me in this game. I need to come out strong and be able to offer guidance. And then you find that you have become a voice of reason in the institution with God's guidance, and you take on serious responsibility. So I think leaders need that training, that kind of training and mentorship, and that's why I encourage people in positions of responsibility and leadership to always hold the hands of young people. And that's why, Edrine, you see me with students most of the time, the young people, university leaders. I engage with them because I know that tomorrow, if I'm not a leader and I've probably retired and become a farmer and I'm busy sitting under the shade, I know there is someone else doing exactly what I used to do, or there are people, a crop of leaders who have come up to do exactly that. Yes.
Okay. Now, talking about still ethical decision making, are there any challenges associated with ethical decision making?
Well, human beings are very complicated. If we are leading human beings, then you need to devise some strategies. Because why there are challenges? Sometimes you take decisions and people will not want to implement. Sometimes it is difficult to convince people to see things the way you are seeing. And so ethical leadership has got lots of challenges. And the art of leading people and making good decisions is basically based on a divine set of values and principles like fairness, accountability, trust, honesty, respect, and even equality. And these values basically form a core foundation for ethical leadership. But there are challenges in that if you cannot convince the people you are leading to follow your direction, then it is very, very frustrating. Then there are moral dilemmas. Sometimes we have some moral dilemmas around temptations to take the wrong route, Every time someone is knocking your door, they probably want you to do the wrong thing. You're following ethical principles, especially in recruitment, but someone saying, no, but my son is a man. Can you do something to help my son? Well, if your son cannot come out to compete and the positions are competitive, then what do you expect me to do? We need to be as fair and just with everybody else, because everybody else who has applied basically is looking at that job. So let people compete and let there be fairness. So there are those challenges of people wanting to bend rules here and there. But ethics is a way of understanding right from wrong, like we said, by using a set of values, by using moral principles. And these are the moral principles that should be guiding leaders. And more specifically, when you look at decision making, it is basically a dynamic mechanism through which ethical leaders influence ethical behaviors and outcomes out of people. And therefore, that means you need to teach the people these moral principles so that they will not want to bend rules here and there. And we have got to understand how this functions, especially in ethical leaders, because I look at a human being as that moral person, a moral manager, a moral supervisor. Yes.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We are going to take a short commercial break, and when we return, we shall continue with the conversation. Kindly stick with us.